Here with reaction, 2024 GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramasamy. Well, it must be nice if you have all of that security with you and you get to walk your little doggy, along the streets of D.C. I guess you don't have to worry about getting the crap beat out of you or getting your car jacked.
It's another example of the liberal elite being insulated from the very problems that they create. But let me just say a word about this border crisis, Sean. The border crisis at our southern border right now is the single greatest challenge that this country has faced since 9/11. And I don't state that lightly. You've got 10 million coming over illegally under Biden's tenure alone. If you look at broader estimates, that's closer to 20 plus million. I think the actual number is going to be well above 20 million illegals in the United States right now. And even if you assume 99% of them have no criminal intentions, that means 1% does. That's 200,000 hardened criminals roaming this country, if not more, as a consequence of those loose border policies. So the relationship between this crime wave and the border crisis, that's not a coincidence. In fact, I think that I fear laying the groundwork for even a future event, God forbid, like 9/11, until we get serious and actually do something about it, both sealing that border and deporting anybody who's in this country illegally. If your first act of entering this country breaks the law, it should be no surprise that many of these people continue to break the law while they're here. And it has to end, and it's going to take a new president to deliver that.
So we learned a lot about you in the Republican primary. Actually, I learned a lot about you personally on the show, is that you like verbal combat. You have no problem mixing it up with people. We now know what the Democratic plan is. They'll demagogue abortion, democracy in peril, January 6th, Republicans are racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, transphobic, and want dirty air and water. Okay. Now the question is, they can't run on their record. What do you tell Donald Trump? What is the best way for not only Donald Trump, but for every Republican that is going to be lied about when they demagogue abortion? What would you advise them to do? How should they answer that?
Yeah. I would say forget about the other side. The other side is full of hypocrisies. If we're naming their hypocrisies, we'd be busy all day. Focus on what we actually stand for, that we stand for the idea that nations have borders, that you get ahead in this country based on merit, not on the color of your skin, that we're actually the party that believes in free speech. That used to be liberals 40 years ago. Well, that's the conservative movement today. That you get to speak your mind openly in this country as long as I get to in return. That we believe in a justice system that doesn't favor conservatives, but doesn't favor people just because they're part of the Democratic Party either. That's what we believe and stand for. And I think part of the reason we didn't have that red wave in 2022, Sean, they tried to blame Trump, they tried to blame a lot of other issues. No, the reason we didn't have it is that we have to define what we stand for. We can't just criticize Biden. That's my advice to Republicans running up ballot and down ballot. Here's our actual alternative vision for the country.
Let me take a little issue with you on
this.
And
we're going to unite the country more than the other guys will.
I agree with everything you said about you've got to run on a platform, and certainly pointing out Biden's failures is not going to be hard. How's the border working out for you? How's defund, dismantle, no bail laws working out for you? How do you like paying $5.50 a gallon for gasoline in California right now? All of these things. Are you happy with America abdicating its role on the world stage as the leader of the free world and abandoning Israel in the war on terror? However, where I might disagree with you is here. I would argue any Republican running for office, if you're being lied about, you better fight back, and you better hit them hard, and you better let those voters know that you're being lied about. And I think Republicans are too timid sometimes to call out a lie when it is a blatant lie. And if they do that, I think they're risking being defined by a corrupt, lying opponent.
So, Sean, I wouldn't say we disagree, but I would say we build on that. As you know from watching me on the campaign trail, I'm not afraid of calling out a lot of the mainstream media to their face for those lies. But that's all I would say is that's not enough. That's the foundation. Yeah, we've had some fun, I would say, on air, and that's good. That's what we want. You know what? If you can't dish it, you can't take it. But I would say this is the unique part of this election. This is historic, and I just want to say this on a positive note. We only get this once in a century where voters get to choose between two presidents who have both been the president before. That doesn't happen usually. It was Grover Cleveland the last time around. So that's a unique opportunity in this election that voters have at the top of the ticket to say, it's not a challenger to Biden who's offering you hopes and dreams. It's a challenger to Biden who's already done it. Compare 4 years of Trump to 4 years of Biden. That's a once-in-a-century opportunity, and if voters seize that, I think we can have a landslide that unites this country. That's what this country needs, and as Donald Trump has said, and I love it when he says this, success will be our vengeance. That's how we're going to be the party. Biden promised to unite the country. He didn't do it. That's what Republicans are going to do this year, and I think that's how we're going to make our nation greater than it's ever been before so that our best days are still ahead of us. I truly believe that.
And remember this, the one thing they cannot run on is, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Because I can't think of a single policy success of Joe Biden. Vivek, I look forward to our next round of verbal combat. That'll be fun. Appreciate you being with us.